Welcome back to the second episode of this three-part series, Houseplants 101, Growing Healthy Indoor Plants. In the first part of this series, we took a closer look at soil composition and the different types of materials that you can or should be including in your houseplant soil. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the other conditions other than soil mix that are really important for your houseplants. So that means everything light, soil moisture, and pH. And we're going to be discussing the simple and inexpensive tool that you can pick up that really takes the guessing out of caring for your houseplants. Now, it wasn't until I picked up this beautiful Maranta, commonly known as the prayer plant, and started to do some online research that I realized that these plants need a slightly acidic soil. Now, these plants boast these beautiful leaves with dark and neon green and these unforgettable pink veins. Now, they get their name as a prayer plant from the fact that they sort of close up like this when it gets dark outside or in the evening, and then during the day they obviously open back up. Now, these houseplants are beautiful and I find them extremely fascinating, and to keep this gal happy, the soil pH needs to be in the 5.5 to 6 range. Now, do not fret, there is a simple solution. All you need to do is pick up a pH tester like this one I picked up here, and you can then measure the current pH of the soil and continue to adjust and keep an eye on it as time goes by. Chances are that the current pH of your soil is probably in the 7 to 8 range. Now, there are several sort of basic ways that you can adjust the pH if you need to. So depending on the soil that you have, there are basically several different ways that you can adjust the pH levels. The first would be to use a product like dolomite lime, and this can be mixed in directly with the soil, but this is typically used more so in outdoor gardens. When it comes to houseplants, your best bet is probably to pick up a product like this Miracle Grow product, in which you add some of that material to water, and then you use that water every other week to water your plants, and that will keep the plant soil at the sort of ideal pH in that sort of 5.5 to 6 range. So if you do need to raise the pH, or you want to make it a little bit less acidic, or really refine the precise pH that you want to use, you could pick up a product like this, and what I would suggest is adding a little to the mixture, testing it, and then going forward from there. Now, the amazing thing about using a tool like this is not only does it measure the pH levels in your soil, it actually can do a couple other things. So a tool like this can also give you a readout on the brightness and quantity of light that your plant is receiving in foot candles. Now, when you put this into your houseplant, it can also give you a readout on the soil moisture. Now, when it comes to light, your prayer plant is going to want to receive that bright indirect light, and I've talked about this in some of my other plant videos, and what that means is you're going to want to place, like most of your indoor houseplants, in a room that has a south-facing window. So if you are using that tool to measure the amount of bright light or the brightness of the light that the prayer plant is receiving, you're going to want to have it in the 1000 to 2000 range. It should be noted as well that this plant does just fine in lower light situations, but for it to really grow and thrive, it does need that bright indirect light. If you've never heard of the term foot candle before, that is the metric used to measure light and the amount of brightness in the light. Now, the higher the foot candle, that means the brighter the light. Now, you can use the tool and place this directly in the soil in the chosen spot you have for your houseplant, so that you can get a readout during the day and understand the sort of top end of bright light that your plant is receiving. Now, the only caveat is to be careful of the prongs and make sure that you're sort of gently putting that through the soil. You're not breaking through any root material. Now, when it comes to soil moisture, Plants like the Maranta, the prayer plant, they do need a soil mix that is going to have a good amount of aeration and a good amount of water retention. These plants do need a moist soil. In the last video, I talked a little bit about peat moss and how that can run slightly acidic. So if that is something that you are using in your soil mix for a prayer plant, that is probably not going to be sufficient enough to get that 5.5 to 6 pH level. So you are going to want to use some of the additives that I've discussed. Now, prayer plants are not the only plants that require a slightly acidic soil. Cactus, oxalis, and rubber plants are just a few of the many houseplants that thrive in a acidic pH soil. So next time you bring a houseplant home or you have one in mind, don't forget to look up online what pH works best for your new houseplant. And if you don't currently have a pH tester, you may want to pick one up that can really keep things simple when it comes to soil pH, obviously soil moisture, and light as well. I hope this video was useful for you. Take care until the next one.